Oh man, the acoustics are in here.
We were actually right here.
What the fuck was that? 1, 2, 3! Fucking move.
The film begins in a documentary style showcasing the eerie journey of a supernatural investigation show named Grave Encounters, with executive producer Jerry Hartfield at the helm. This particular episode claims to reveal real paranormal events, and according to Jerry, it's pieced together from an intense 76 hours of footage. At Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital, a place with a dark history and chilling stories, Lance, eager to dive into the mysteries, meets with Morgan Turner, a historian who details the grim past of the institution. Morgan recounts how, when it was operational, the hospital's conditions were appalling. Patients were subjected to inhumane treatment, often left to sleep on the floor, and faced relentless abuse from the staff. Morgan shares the chilling tale of Dr. Friedkin, a former physician infamous for lobotomies, who met a grim end when 6 patients stormed his office and stabbed him. Afterward, the crew, guided by caretaker Kenny, explores eerie spots, a window that opens mysteriously at night, a graffiti-covered room, a bathtub where a young patient reportedly took her life, and the basement, where Kenny claims to have seen a ghostly figure. The team then conducts additional interviews with others who have encountered strange phenomena within the hospital. Later, a medium arrives to explore the building, moving through various rooms while describing the unsettling energies and lingering spirits. Each moment they capture on film adds to the sense of dread building within the haunted halls.
We were actually right here.
After a quick cut, it's revealed that the medium is actually an actor, and there's another crew member with them, a cameraman named TC. As night falls, Matt sets up cameras in locations where supernatural activity is most likely to occur. Once he finishes, Lance prompts him to introduce some of their specialized equipment. Matt starts by using an EMF meter to detect electromagnetic field changes, hoping to pick up ghostly presences. He then introduces an infrared thermometer and a special recorder that captures sounds beyond human hearing, allowing the team to detect spirit responses. Later, Lance has Kenny lock them in for the night, planning to be released at 6 a.m. The team splits up to investigate the most haunted spots, regrouping later in a headquarters room to discuss their findings. During their discussion, footage from a stationary camera shows a window mysteriously opening by itself. As TC roams the halls filming alone, he takes a call from his daughter, setting his camera down momentarily. During the call, a nearby wheelchair shifts slightly, unnoticed by TC. After hanging up, TC continues exploring, but he's soon startled when a door suddenly slams shut behind him. Panicked, he radios the crew for help, realizing he may not be as alone as he thought. The team initially dismisses his story, but when TC shows them footage of the door slamming, they're stunned. Lance, especially thrilled, sees this as a breakthrough and is more determined to uncover the hospital's secrets. Lance tries to communicate with the spirit but gets no response. Suddenly, an eerie noise echoes through the hall. The crew hurries over and finds a bed on the ground, its wheels spinning as if it had just been pushed. Panic sets in as everyone begins talking over each other, tension mounting in the face of this unexplainable event. Hearing footsteps from above, the crew quickly contacts Matt in the control room to check for intruders. Matt confirms the building is secure, but the crew heads upstairs to investigate. Sasha tries using the recording device to reach out to any spirits, but only silence follows, until something unseen tugs her hair. Startled, she runs, screaming through the halls. Lance, refusing to give up, returns with TC to continue investigating. He attempts to contact spirits again, but when that fails, he takes photos, unknowingly capturing apparitions in each shot. Tensions flare as TC and Houston's nerves fray from the constant, eerie occurrences. They eventually find their way back to the control room, where Sasha and Matt are anxiously waiting. Lance decides they need to regroup and instructs Matt to collect the cameras around the building. As Matt gathers equipment, he reaches the room with the mysteriously open window and tries to radio Lance but gets no response. The silence intensifies, and Matt realizes he's alone, the hospital's oppressive atmosphere growing even heavier. Matt hears a sudden banging echoing through the hall, drawing him deeper into the darkness. Meanwhile, Lance's attempts to reach him but fail, so he gathers the rest of the team to search for their missing crew member, moving cautiously through the dim corridors. As they progress, TC peers down a staircase, only to be shoved, sending him sprawling onto the floor. The others help him up and return to the control room, where TC confronts Lance, insisting he was pushed. Tensions boil over as TC demands Lance call Kenny to unlock the door so they can finally escape this eerie place. Lance tries calling Kenny, but his phone has no signal. Frustrated, TC begins breaking down the door, with Lance joining in. They manage to break it open, only to find another dimly lit hallway instead of an exit. Panic sets in as they realize they're trapped with no clear way out. After a brief rest, the crew awakens to a grim discovery. Their food supply has mysteriously spoiled in just a few hours. With no sign of Kenny unlocking the door, their sense of isolation deepens. TC recalls seeing a fire escape in an exterior shot of the building and suggests they try reaching the roof as a potential escape. The crew agrees and quickly packs up, heading toward this possible way out. Their spirits lift as they reach the stairs, feeling a glimmer of hope. But their optimism fades when they hit a dead end at the top, leaving them stunned and deflated. Still determined, they decide to search for another way out. Their search is interrupted by Matt's panicked screams echoing through the halls. The crew races to find him, arriving in a barren room with only a single bed. Suddenly, the bed slides across the floor on its own in a chilling display. Horrified, they flee, scrambling to find a place to hide. Exhausted, they eventually fall into a fitful sleep. When they wake, they find the word "hello" scratched into Sasha's back, leaving everyone shaken. Lance tries to reach Matt by radio but gets no response. Determined to find him, they follow eerie sounds, catching glimpses of a shadowy figure slipping from room to room. As they chase it, they enter a room and see a woman standing motionless in a corner. Approaching cautiously, she suddenly turns, panic sets in, and the crew bolts, barricading themselves in a tiny space, desperate to escape the horrors closing in on them. Lance, TC, and Sasha wake to a disturbing sight. Still determined to find Matt, they notice nearly all the doors in the hallway are open. Tensions rise, leading to an argument, but Sasha, frayed and on edge, reaches her breaking point. Without warning, an arm grabs Sasha from one of the doorways. Lance helps her break free, and they sprint down the hall, stumbling into a room where they find Matt, dressed in a patient's gown, staring at them with a dazed, eerie expression. The crew soon realizes Matt has lost his grip on reality, now convinced he's a patient in the asylum. Mutely trapped in his delusion, he mutters to himself, detached from their shared terror. Exhausted, they fall asleep, only to awaken to a horrifying sight. Dozens of ghostly hands emerging from the walls and ceiling. They rush to the room where a female patient once died in a blood-filled tub. Lance heads down a shadowy hallway and spots a metal rod lodged in an old turnstile. Grabbing it, he turns to leave, only to notice a small, unsettling object on the floor. A severed piece of someone's tongue, blood fresh on it. As he looks up, horror dawns as he spots a demon clinging to the wall above. Lance bolts back to the elevator, where Sasha helps him slam the door shut just in time. Both shaken and breathless, they brace themselves, wondering what horrors await them next in this relentless nightmare. In a final act of despair, Matt sets the camera down and jumps from the elevator shaft, giving Lance and Sasha a brief moment to breathe. They look down the shaft and see Matt's lifeless body below. As they sleep, a strange thick smoke forms, slowly surrounding Sasha. Before Lance can react, the smoke drags her away, disappearing into the darkness and leaving Lance alone in the oppressive silence of the tunnel. Lance eventually awakens to the grim realization that Sasha is gone, leaving him utterly alone in the eerie silence of the tunnel. Through his camera's lens, it's evident that his sanity is unraveling. He begins muttering incoherently, rambling to himself, and in his desperation, even resorts to killing and eating a rat to stave off hunger. Lance continues his aimless trek through the tunnel until he stumbles upon a small, eerie room. Inside, he finds strange surgical tools and haunting images of patients subjected to lobotomies. Amid the disturbing artifacts, he discovers an ancient rune-covered book. As he scans the room, he's horrified to see Dr. Friedkin, appearing ghostly, yet vivid, in the middle of performing a lobotomy on an apparition of a patient. It ends as Lance narrowly escapes Dr. Friedkin's terrifying grasp. Did this story spook you out? Let us know in the comments below. For more horror movie recaps, subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next one. Fear awaits you.